Somewhere in your soul's memory, you were the one who held it all together, the healer behind the scenes, the one who worked in silence, served without rest, disappeared inside duty. And maybe in this lifetime, you've done it again. You've sacrificed your time, you've sacrificed your needs and your body. But if your north node is in the sixth house, here's your north node symbol, here's the sixth house. You're not here to dissolve, you're here to rebuild. Not for the system, not for perfection, but for you. And if you've just watched my Pluto in the sixth house video, you might be wondering what's the difference, right? Well, Pluto brings, and here's Pluto right here. This is a symbol for Pluto. And I have a whole video. If you just watch that, Pluto brings intensity, okay? It reveals where you've been disempowered through burnout, control, shame, or sacrifice. It asks you to face the deep wounds that have lived in your work, in your wellness, in your worth. It's the underworld initiation, okay? But the North Node is different, okay? It doesn't just show where you've suffered, it shows what you're here to build. That's a difference, okay? It's not about power struggle or pain. This North Node is about purpose. It's about learning how to live with rhythm, reverence, and real support. So the North Node in the sixth house asks you to return to yourself through devotion, to create sacred systems that hold you, not just what you produce. Okay? It's your soul saying to you, hey, this time you don't have to break down to be of service. You get to build a life that actually serves you. Welcome back, beautiful ones. I'm Cindy, and this is the Soul's Path, where we remember who you've been, why you're here, and how to walk the sacred bridge between them. So, today we explore the North Node in the sixth house. So, here is the sixth house. It'll have the number 6 here in your natal chart. And this is the symbol for the North Node, okay? And another thing is you do not have to know astrology to watch this video, okay? So just sit back, relax. If you have this symbol in this sixth house, I'm talking to you, okay? Now, this path is not glamorous, okay? Trust me, it's not glamorous. It's not loud, and it's not often even celebrated. But I'm going to tell you this, it is holy. Okay, so if this is your placement, your soul came back for a reason that most people overlook. And that is to learn how to be in your body. Okay, to create life that feels livable. Is this sounding familiar? To also to serve, not from sacrifice, but from structure and from rhythm and from care. Okay, so you may have spent lifetimes in the 12th house, that's the south node, dissolving and floating and saving and escaping or simply leaving your own body behind. But this time you're here to stay, to heal, to integrate, to come back to earth as a sacred act. And if that feels like a big shift, you're right. But that shift, it's the return your lineage has been waiting for. So let's talk a little bit about how this North Node and the South Node need to balance and how you work with them. Okay, so to walk your North Node, right, you must first understand the one you've already walked, which is your South Node. Okay, so if your North Node is in the sixth house, then your South Node lives in the 12th house. It is always the exact opposite. Okay, so this means Your soul is no stranger to the hidden realms. You've been the mystic, the dreamer, the one who knew how to merge with spirit, even if it meant disappearing. Okay? You've carried lifetimes of sacrifice where your identity dissolved for the collective good, where your boundaries were blurred, where service came through surrender, not structure. But, and in this lifetime, that energy can still feel like home. Okay. This feels very, because you've mastered this already, right? So maybe you've struggled with escapism in this life, or illness, or chronic exhaustion. Maybe you felt like your life is happening to you and your only job is to endure it, right? Let's endure the suffering, right? That's the pull of the South Node. It whispers, float, fade, don't try to control it, just cope. But the North Node is saying something different, okay? The North Node is saying, get in your body, name what hurts, rebuild the system, live with intention, not just intuition. Because this time you're not here to escape. That's not what you're here for. You're here to heal in real time. So let's talk a little bit about who you've been in other lifetimes. Okay. And to do that, we have to look at the shadow of the 12th house, the South Node over here, and in the 12th house. Okay. So if your path is the North Node in the 6th house, you have lived lifetimes in surrender, lifetimes in isolation, lifetimes in service and retreat. You may have been the hidden healer, the monk. You may have also been the hospital caretaker, the one who held space for others behind the veil. You've known how to carry pain that wasn't yours and make it sacred. But here's the shadow. These all may sound familiar to you guys. You've also learned to disappear in the process, okay? You've learned to lose yourself in sacrifice, to blur the lines between support, and losing your sense of self. But in this life, you still may feel that pull because they pull at each other. They have to be balanced. Okay. So you might find yourself numbing out in daydreams or spiritual bypass. You might also find yourself avoiding conflict or structure because it just feels too harsh. You may also find yourself always helping but never asking for help. Or you may also find yourself feeling like your purpose is to absorb the world's pain without complaint. But let me tell you something. These are echoes from the 12th house. They're echoes. A place of wisdom, yes. Yes, the 12th house is a place of wisdom. Yes. But it's also of hiding. And if you stay here too long, you forget how to live. You come here to live. Because the North Node in the 6th house is asking you to come back. It's asking you to come back to life. It's asking you to choose presence over disappearance. The North Node in the 6th house is asking you to ground the sacred into daily rhythms. So the wisdom that you know, ground that into daily rhythms. It's asking you to be in the body, in the moment, in the doing, and not, this isn't so that you can reject the spiritual. That's not what it's asking. What it's asking you to do is to finally merge the spiritual with the material. Displacement is a return to rhythm. Okay. It asks you to remember that your life is not just meaningful in the big moments, but in how you wake up, in how you nourish yourself, and how you speak to your body. How do you speak to your body? I bet a lot of you don't even realize how you speak to your body and how you tend your space. The North Node in the 6th house calls you to serve, but not as a martyr. To be useful, but not to abandon yourself in the process. Okay? It's asking you to learn the sacredness of routine, discover devotion through consistency. It's asking you to build a relationship with your body that's rooted in trust, not punishment. Okay? It's used to punishment. That's not what you want. Okay? You need to root it in trust. It asks you to offer your gifts to the world in a practical, tangible way. Okay? It asks you to be present, not perfect. All right? This is the house of humility, but not smallness. Humility does not mean smallness. It's where the sacred meets the schedule, right? Where your spirituality doesn't float above your life, it lives in it. And this isn't always easy because you've spent lifetimes dissolving into others, into dreams, into causes beyond the body, right? Then staying grounded might feel strange, maybe even uncomfortable. I bet it feels really uncomfortable for a lot of you. But this is the path where healing becomes practice, not a performance, where your life becomes a quiet offering of the divine, and not through grandeur, but through grace. All right. So let me give you some things, steps to take, rituals, whatever you want to call it, right? To kind of get you through and understand this energy and work with it. All right. So if your path, if this is your path right here, the sixth house north node, then your healing isn't a one-time event. For you guys, it's a daily thing. Okay. It doesn't have to be complicated, or that you're going to want to do that because you're a 12th houser, right? Your south node is 12th house, right? You don't have to be complicated. It can be really simple and really quick. Okay. So here's something to get you started, right? And let's do it when you like wake up, right? Here's a simple practice to start your day like it matters, because it does matter. Your schedule, your daily life matters. You're used to it not, but you have to come to terms with it. Yes, that it is. Okay. So upon waking, when you wake up, place one hand over your heart and one hand on your belly and breathe deeply. Okay. Just deep breaths. Okay. And say, I am safe in this body. I am sacred in this life. Okay. I am safe in this body. I am sacred in this life. Now, some of you, of these things that I say, they're not complicated. They're really easy steps to take, practical things, tools to use, right? But it is up to you to do them. I can only guide you with them. That's up to you and your path. Okay. So, in other words, before you reach the phone or begin your task, light a candle or open a window, right? Let that be your way of opening sacred space. Like, just see your space opening up, right? Another thing you can do is write down one thing you're grateful for. That's it. Just write it on your phone. And one thing you will tend to today with love. Okay. Not like it's a burden, not like it's a duty, but with love. Okay. So this is not about perfection. This is about your presence. Okay. Because every act of care, every time, I need you to understand this. Every time you choose intention over reaction, that's part of you becoming who you came here to be. Okay. Not in theory, not just thinking about it and escaping to it, but in practice. This is the body, the practice. Okay. All right. So let's talk about if your north node in the sixth house is being activated now. All right. And by activated, I mean a planet comes by here and transits in your sixth house, or somebody comes to you and they have a planet there and it activates your sixth house, or Your phases in life will activate the sixth house. Okay. Sometimes you come up with something and it'll just activate it, right? Because it's that time of your life, right? Okay. So that's what I mean by activated. So if your north node is in the sixth house and it's being activated now, it might not arrive with a whisper. Okay. Even though this house feels like it's a little bit dull, it's not. It's holy. Okay. So it might show up through disruptions. All right. So, like a healthcare that forces you to slow down. Right. It could also show up as burnout that leaves you unable to keep performing. How many of you know all this, right? Like you felt this. It could also be a job ending that makes you question what truly matters, right? It could also um, have a disruption of a sudden pull towards structure when chaos used to be your normal, right? Like you're all of a sudden you're trying to tidy up and organize and figure it out, right? It could also show up as a craving for rhythm, for meaning, and for care of your body and your space. When you've spent lifetimes ignoring your own needs, right? All of a sudden you're going to be wanting to like, all right, let's see what's going on. Let's put some rhythm to my life. Let's try to structure something, right? But here's what's really happening. Okay. So what's really happening is your soul is calling you back into your body. Okay. Back into the sacred temple of your daily life. And this is for a reason. It's because healing isn't something you chase. Okay. Healing is something you practice. Okay. And when a transit activates this house, especially if it's from Pluto or Uranus. So if Pluto is transiting your sixth house, if Uranus is transiting your sixth house, if Saturn is transiting your sixth house, which by the way, none of those are right now. Okay. Or your progress chart, right? So your 12th house is your coping mechanism. It might flare up. This is where we go to when we feel tired or triggered or don't know what to do. Well, inevitably, all of us go to our south node because that's what we've mastered. That's what we know. That's imprinted in us. Okay. So what the coping mechanisms that might flare up are escapism, so scrolling or substances or emotional withdrawal, right? Or wanting to over identify with suffering, because I mean this is kind of what you've said for many lifetimes. If I'm not in pain, who am I? Right? And some of y'all, that's really, really deep over lifetimes. It's the reason I do hypnosis. It's the reason we look at these things. So, it could also, the 12th house could be flaring up by spiritual bypassing. So, numbing out with love and light when what needs to happen is boundaries or a nap. Okay. I know. But this is the moment to pause and ask. When these things are flaring up, when you want to like escape, when you want to think about something else, when you want to try to get an answer, blah, 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 and do it the old way over identifying with suffering, right? I'll just take it. You know, it's just this phase, it'll be gone, blah, 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 blah. That's that over identifying with suffering. I'll just wait. I have you know, I have it's in God's will, right? Like I hear that all the time. No, it's not. God's will is your will. God trusts you so much. He knows you very well that he says you got this. You can handle this, right? He's not asking you to over identify with your suffering. He does not want you to have pain. He wants you to understand what you're getting through, okay? Take it back in your hands, right? But this is the moment to pause and ask. When these things are happening, I want you to pause and ask, what would love do with this day? Not in theory, not in your mind, but in your morning routine. What would love do with this day? Right? Your boundaries, your plate, your breath. Because the invitation is to bring heaven into the mundane. That makes sense? And trust that when your everyday life is aligned, your soul path will be too. It's really, really important for you to take the wisdom that you've known from all your lifetimes and make it practical and bring it. You're here to show that this can be done. Okay. So let me give you a grounding ritual, a grounding steps to take. Okay. I want you to create 15-minute daily devotion to yourself. Okay. I know this is going to sound strange to a lot of you because this is not normal for you. You're used to being over here, worshiping, connecting, understanding the bigger picture. You've got to bring that down here. Okay. So I want you to create a 15-minute daily devotion to yourself. Okay. Not to your work, not to others, not to your to-do list, just to you. Okay. And it could look like or be brewing tea with presence. Like just brew some tea and really look at the process and engage in the presence of yourself. Okay. It could be stretching with your breath, like just taking some deep breaths in, being in the moment, being present. Okay. It could be writing one page of what your body feels and needs. Okay. Or it could be cleaning one space as a sacred act of self-care. Okay. Like go clean that one room. Go clean. You don't have to do the whole room. Go make your bed. Go do like just clean one space for you. Not because everybody is going to look at it or see it or what are people going to think. Just for you. Because you want to be around some clean stuff. You want to be around some order. Right? Or it could also be walking barefoot outside and noticing every step. I want you to be present in any of these things that you do. Okay. And I want you to understand that task doesn't matter. What matters is the reverence. What matters is your presence to yourself. Okay. So set a timer, show up, and let consistency become your altar. Okay. Again, I can only give you these things to guide you, but it is up to you and your path and your choice to do it. I know they seem simple, but they're not easy. Okay. So once you do any of these things, or you don't even have to wait to do any of these things, there's an affirmation and this will help you. Okay. So an affirmation that you can say to yourself anytime is, I honor my body's rhythm. I create space for my soul in the ordinary. I choose devotion, not depletion. Okay. So if the daily demands are revealing deeper pain or resistance that you're having, you might also be ready to explore the Pluto in the sixth house. Okay. Because that's where we dive into the transformation of control, perfectionism, and your soul's relationship to healing. All right. So you might want to check that out. I'll put that up here. All right. And if this lifetime has felt like a mystery and you're trying to figure it out, like start with episode 1 of this series, right? This is where we explore the soul's compass, and all of us have been through all of these, right? We haven't mastered them all yet, right? But we have been through them. So this may help you on your path, right? And to get into that space and reconnect with yourself and reconnect with earth and this energy and how your life unfolds, watch the Sacred Syncs on Tuesday and Thursdays. That's where I do tarot and mediumship, and that's where we're kind of expanding that bandwidth of the vibration that is moving through our life, and that has all the magic and the miracles and the things that are happening for us. Okay, so watch the Tuesdays and Thursdays Sacred Sync. All right, now one last thing before I go. If your North Node is in the sixth house, it's not just a schedule, a checklist, or a routine that we're asking, right? It's a sacred remembering. It's remembering that you matter, that your needs are real, that healing isn't just something you wait for, it's something you create moment by moment. Okay? You didn't come here to disappear into the fog of the world's pain. You've done that already. You've mastered that already. You came here to clear it through the present, through your presence, through your choices, and your care for this seemingly small things. Okay? You came to make the sacred ordinary again, right? You came to help other people and yourself understand that the ordinary is sacred, right? To find devotion in your doing, right? To experience the power of saying, I choose to show up for myself every single day, right? So if this placement lives in your chart or your soul, drop a comment and tell me, what are you choosing to show up for starting today, right? What's one sacred act of service you're ready to reclaim? Not from your duty, but from devotion. Okay? And subscribe to the channel if you're walking this path of remembrance. And come back for more astrology. This astrology that I give you guys, this doesn't just describe you, it's awakening you. Okay? And until then, be sure to tend to your temple, your body. I want you to trust your rhythm and remember, your healing is holy.